Alrighty, here's a video I watched from History of Everything, How You Fell for Russian Propaganda. So, I watched this video, and yeah, Russia uses propaganda. I'd be surprised if they didn't, but anyway. So, do I want to review the whole hour? No, not really. It'd be very, very long. I think I'll just go ahead and go to the part where he talks about the AFD. Alrighty, let's get into it.
If one were to follow the money of other extremist groups such as Alternative for Germany, or AfD, the political party, it will find direct connections with the Kremlin.
I'm gonna do an X to doubt on that, because if the German intelligence agency found out that the AfD was getting money from the Kremlin, the AfD would be dissolved. But hypothetically speaking, if the AfD was getting money from the Kremlin, I wouldn't be surprised. That's pretty low-hanging fruit. It's something that the Russians could easily take advantage of to weaken the West.
They also orchestrate domestic unrest and spread disinformation campaigns. For example, Russia's interference in the 2016 US presidential election was a prime example of the use of active measures, including a hacking campaign, the spread of misinformation through social media and other platforms, and more. This was explicitly clear on social media such as Facebook and Twitter during the 2024 cycle, where large groups of bots repeated the same talking lines over and over again in order to spread information in critical areas where the Republican Party required votes.
I remember going on my Facebook account during the election. I got a whole whack of Democrat spam. Did I get any Republican spam? No, not that I can recall. It was all Harris the way forward, Harris as Wonder Woman, Harris will make America great again, Biden passing the torch to Harris, etc.
While actively suppressing fact. This misinformation campaign regarding Haitian immigrants in Cleveland, Ohio is a prime example of this, with agents of influence such as Elon Musk, because yes, Elon Musk is nothing more than a useful idiot.
Now, I don't know about the whole cannibal thing, but I have heard about Haitians eating cats and stuff. And the same day I was making this video, I found some of this on the Twitter. Normies have no idea how illegals are 5 years away, max, from irreversibly destroying our delicate fish population. And here's another one. 70 years of wildlife conservation in North America is being undone by mass immigration. In the video below, the game warden catches an Asian couple poaching. As he searches them, everyone else leaves because they were also poaching. So yeah, Haitians eating geese and cats, it's not far off. So when this History of Everything guy talks about Haitians eating cats as misinformation, I don't see how that's misinformation.
Perpetuating the idea that Haitian immigrants were eating cats and stealing pets. Similarly, photos were shared of totally disconnected events to back up effectively what was being said here, while fact-checking was lauded as fake news and again, deep state woke lies. Again, I'm not saying this is due to Trump being a spy, but the reality is Russia has and will continue to benefit from a Trump presidency over a Harris presidency, particularly in Ukraine.
Yeah, I'm gonna do another X to doubt on that, because here's what I've heard about Harris, Biden, and Obama. People say that Biden is a continuation of Obama, and what did Obama do?
My last week's basically, yeah. After my election, I have more flexibility.
Yeah, I understand. I transmit this information to Vladimir and Alexander.
And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Russia invade, what was it called, Crimea, during Obama's term? Something about a naval port. Then, of course, you have Biden saying this.
Russia will be held accountable if it invades. And it depends on what it does. It's one thing if it's a minor incursion and then we end up having a fight about what to do and not do, etc.
So yeah, what the hell is small incursion? Is that like what, Crimea?
Disaster for Russia if they further engrade you.
Wanted to follow up briefly on a question asked by Bloomberg. You said that Russia would be held accountable if it invades, and it depends on what it does. Are you saying that a minor incursion by Russia into Ukrainian territory would not lead to the sanctions that you have threatened, or are you effectively giving Putin permission to make a small incursion into the country?
Good question.
The Russia-Ukraine war is supposed to be so serious, yet they laugh. That's kind of odd to me, but anyway.
The idea that we would do anything to split NATO, which would have a profound impact on profound impact on one of Putin's objectives is to weaken NATO, would be a big mistake.
Yeah, weakening NATO, weakening Western Europe. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what the Kremlin's trying to do. And again, the history of everything guy, he talks about the AfD and how they're getting money from the Kremlin. Well, it's pretty low-hanging fruit to take advantage of, because the German people are tired of all that mass immigration. They don't want to be replaced by foreigners.
We can see this clearly with Trump himself repeating Kremlin rhetoric regarding Ukraine and his dismissiveness of Ukrainian institutions, elected officials, and also the Ukrainians' respect for their own constitution. I'd like to bring up the fact that Volodymyr Zelensky is still the president of Ukraine well after his term ended. The Ukrainian constitution forbids elections during wartime.
I did not know that. I have heard people call Zelensky a dictator. So yeah, I googled it, and yeah, it does forbid elections during wartime. Or martial law.
President Vladimir Putin, the rightful president of Russia, even though according to the Russian constitution, anyone who has held a foreign citizen's card or residency card can't legally be a president of the Russian Federation.
That's one of the biggest plot holes for me that I have with Russia. I mean, wasn't there a time when Putin was president, and then someone else got elected, and then the next election cycle, Putin got elected? And as far as I could tell, he's been winning elections ever since. So if it sounds like I'm all over the place, the answer is simple. 2014, Russia invades Crimea. Was there a stink made about it? Yeah, a little bit. But other than that, it got swept under the rug. And what does that do? It emboldens Russia. People even say that Putin's a bully. Well, what happens when you don't stand up to bullies? They'll just keep bullying you. And what's happening in Ukraine? They're getting bullied. So this history of everything guy, it seems like, yeah, he's putting a lot of flack on Trump, and yeah, Trump is calling Zelensky a dictator and things like that. But in my opinion, if Obama had took a firm stance on Putin in 2014, the whole invasion would have never have happened.
Influence, being a useful idiot for the Kremlin. Russia tried this again in Germany with its most recent election, with the AfD reaching the position of the second largest party in the Bundestag, but failing to achieve a majority and being kept out of power by a coalition between the SPD and the CDU.
So again, do I think the Russians are puppeteering the AfD? Yeah, it is possible. Nothing's impossible. Or maybe the native Germans are tired of all the immigration and they don't want to become a minority in their own lands. So in their desperation, they're gravitating towards the AfD. Now I've heard a lot of people say, even this History of Everything guy, call the AfD a far right-wing party. Some people even call them extremists. What makes them extremist? As far as I can gather, they're anti-immigration. Does that make them an extremist party in my opinion? No. The native Germans have a right to self-preservation. Throughout human history, whenever you've had immigration, more often than not, the native population dies out.
These are not uncommon events, and no matter who you are, teenager or president, you are not immune to propaganda.
No one is. And that's why I stopped watching TV. Hell, I don't even have a TV. Now, as for the internet, there's a few YouTuber content creators I watch. Some of them have called Zelensky a dictator. And did I believe him for a while? Yeah. What changed my mind? This History of Everything guy. He talked about the Ukrainian Constitution. So what did I do? I Googled it. And just like that, I learned something. You gotta question everything. When in doubt, look it up yourself.
The Brexit campaigning, for one. There is so many levels to go into that.
Ah, yes, the Brexit. As far as I know, it was supposed to curb immigration, but that didn't really pan out. Since then, they've been through a few PMs, and the boats just keep on coming, apparently. So, I don't get the point of Brexit. So yeah, to summarize this video, I do like the History of Everything's content, but I have to say it. When I heard him talking about Trump, I immediately thought, well, what about Obama, right? 2014? What did Obama do when Russia took Crimea? Not much. And that's how I view the whole Russia-Ukrainian war. And again, everybody says Putin's a bully. Well, if you don't stand up to bullies, what happens? Well, you got what's going on now. Well, anyway, take care out there in Clown World.